The 30-day maintenance for the lid requires lubricating the thrust ball, the ball seat, and the spindle. So I'm going to separate the lid and crossarm, pull out on the retaining pin, push down on the crossarm, lift up on the latch. I use my spindle lube to lubricate the ball seat. Put a little lube on there, spread it around. And it's a good time I can apply just a little bit on my locking pin and also just work that into the top. It's a good time to look around the ball seat for any excessive scoring. If there was excessive scoring, that's a sign that our thrust ball and our ball seat both would need to be replaced. And if the scoring was too bad, the lid would need to be replaced, as that's a sign that the aluminum can cover our locking pin and prevent that from extending, which would prevent the lid from locking under pressure. After that, we move up to the thrust ball, and the thrust ball should spin freely. And I want to apply a little bit of spindle lube to that, make sure the ball actually spins. The importance of that ball spinning is it takes the stress off of this locking collar retaining pin. So when we tighten the lid down, this ball actually stays stationary, and we rotate the locking collar around the ball. So I work a little bit of that lubrication in there. Then I'm going to lubricate the spindle. A little bit right on the spindle, and then I work that in by just taking the spindle and moving that up and down. When we're looking at the spindle, it's a good time to inspect to make sure all the components are in place and none of the components are broken. What we're looking for here is we want to make sure that this brass Acme nut at the top is in place. The stainless steel idle nut is right next to that. And then on the locking collar, there is a retaining pin. It's important to look at both sides of that retaining pin to make sure that they're flush with the locking collar. This is one side. I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees and look at the other side. Both of these are flush, and that's a good retaining pin. If any of those parts were broken in here or missing, you'd want to immediately contact your Henny Penny distributor to get a service call set up. And also, it's a good idea to remove the lid. That way no one could use the fryer under pressure. I'm going to close all these components, so I make sure my spindle is up. Hold out on the retaining pin, close. And it's a good time to mention for our latch, we have a latch pin. You want to just make sure the latch pin isn't broken, or none of the clips on the end of that latch pin aren't missing. Make sure the spring isn't broken either. If any of those were broken or missing, the same, you just want to contact your Henny Penny distributor and get a service call set up to get those parts replaced.